I think mental health is really important because I believe that if your mental health isn't where it should be, I feel like it affects everything in terms of motivation, whether that's in a sport, gym goals, work, anything like that.
It's very important. I think something that in recent years it's been spoken about a lot more than it was before, and I think it just goes to show how important it really is.
Mental health to me very much means waking up in the morning and being ready to attack the day, whether that's going to work, seeing friends, seeing family, and having a positive mindset going forward.
Where I stand and the other PTs kind of stand is that I kind of feel like I have a duty of care for people. Yeah. Where if someone's in a situation where they're sad or upset, and you can kind of tell, it's just being there for the person and kind of talking to them, even if you're having to make the push to tell them because they may be too nervous to tell you. Kind of being there for them because it may give them the sense of you care about them and you're willing to talk to them.
I think everyone will know somebody or experience somebody who's gone through, tough mental health issues. I know I certainly have. It's pretty close to me. So yeah, it means a lot. It's something that has to be addressed, and light needs to be shed on it, and it's a big issue in society.
I always used to keep everything to myself and keep it in and not speak to anyone, but no, I think especially the last 18 months have definitely opened up a lot more.
What changed for you over the last 18 months?
I just believed in it a lot more. I've seen a lot of things go on, and myself personally, as I went through quite a bit, and I think it changed my whole mindset on it.
I think mental health and physical health very much come hand in hand. If you're physically able to go to the gym, exercise regularly, go on regular walks, then mentally you'll feel more ready to go to work and do all the day-to-day things that maybe aren't as enjoyable.
It's hard to know exactly how to look after your mental health because everyone has stresses of every day, maybe whether it's work, money, family problems, anything like that. So it is difficult to stay on top of, but I also think that keeping physically healthy and eating well and looking after yourself is one way of looking after your mental health as well. Reaching a physical health goal is kind of impossible unless your mental health is good,
Some people kind of get so worked up in their physical appearance and everything like this, and they kind of forget their mental side of it. They want to kind of look a certain way. Some people, a Barbie or a Ken like that, and they don't realise that their mental side about it. And I think it's probably something that they should talk about more.
Yeah, I'd say if it probably wasn't for social media, we wouldn't actually be talking about this right now. In fact, I'd say 100% we wouldn't be talking about it. So that is the power of social media and why it is so good. But then the flip side of that would be some people would probably suffer with their mental health because of social media. So there's always a balance. But I feel like social media has put it on the map, so we need to be a bit grateful for that. And then we can then take it into our own hands, and the professionals can take it into their hands to see how they can help.
It can be a double-sided sword, really. It has massive benefits, obviously, because again, a lot of awareness can be spread, a lot of platforms can be advertised and promoted. But then on the flip side of that, social media can be a pretty horrendous place. There's a lot of negativity, a lot of bad people and bad negative energy and comments and etc. there that if you know where to find it, obviously it can affect people, it can affect players, it can affect staff and family and friends and stuff like that. So it can be both sides, I suppose. I'd like to see obviously more and more kind of things being promoted and on social media, and use it more as a platform to help people and to let people know that they're not kind of alone in any of the struggles they're going through.
depends. I think it depends how you look at it. I think especially this day and age, I think there's a lot of younger generation who look at things and think it should be like that, when it's matter of fact, it's what you see on social media half the time isn't correct. Do you know what I mean? Or it's you've got to take it with a pinch of salt, a lot of things that you see. But social media, it has its positives. 100% it has its positives. Like there's people out there talking about it all the time, and you can message people and speak to them about it if you want to do it that way. But no, there's a lot of things on social media you need to be careful with.
Things that can affect your mental health are all over the place, whether it is going to work or some people, it might be having to deal with social situations, financial. They all share different importance to each person. Everyone's different, but being able to deal with whatever the issue may be with that particular person, obviously it's all individual, being able to point them in the right direction and giving them that extra support that they might need.
Men are meant to be strong and kind of, keep to themselves and kind of man up and just, don't express themselves and get on with it. It's kind of always that get on with it part where women are able to talk, and that's, I think, what will affect men more.
It's not that they're less inclined, it's the fact that they won't. Right. I think a lot of men this day and age are just too afraid to speak up. Right. And they shouldn't be afraid, Okay. They have like what's the word? They feel like they can't. They feel like a stigma. They feel like it's not right to do it as a man, which is completely wrong.
I think it's improving. It's definitely improving. I think this, that stigma back in the days is slowly kind of being eradicated as such, because I think people are realizing now that it's a sign of strength more than a sign of weakness to speak to somebody. And if you do have issues, that I think people are realizing that it's important to obviously speak and seek help if need be, and for the rest of society as well. I think people are becoming more aware that back in the day it probably was a case of you kind of wouldn't really take much notice if a friend came to you and said, "Oh, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that," whereas now I think people are more aware of it, obviously just through what's going on in society over the past couple of years and how big an issue mental health has become. So people are now more aware of it, so they're more inclined to to listen and to try and help.
Man up, the expression man up, it's like you're just expected to be, I don't know what's the word for it. You're expected to be good all the time, strong, if you like.
So would you say it's seen as a sign of weakness?
Yeah, I think it is. I've never, if I have a problem, I'm a very open person, so if I have anything going on, I'm more than happy to open up about anything, but I can understand why someone may not want to.
I can go and I can talk to someone, if that be parents, grandparents, colleagues. Some people don't have that. Some people may go out of their house and only speak to 1 or 2 people a day. They may live on their own, or they kind of keep that kind of secluded lifestyle, and not everyone is as lucky just to walk downstairs and say good morning to someone.
I think it's that being able to go to someone for that exact reason. So if it is to do with mental health, I think there should be someone in place who, let's say on a Sunday, someone may be struggling after a game. You can go to them, you can speak to them, you can let out what you want to let out, and you get your feedback. But just little things like that, I think there's just too many people keeping it in, and we haven't got that freedom to go and speak to anyone.
I think it's just something you need to be open about. I don't think you can really drum it into people and post it everywhere. I think it just needs to be there in the background where people know if they're struggling or they need someone to talk to, they can, whether that be professional help or a family or a friend, they know they can do that.
It doesn't have to be a specialist in a particular field. Just having someone there just to vent out anything that you have inside you, and you don't want to feel like you have to bottle things up, because talking about it is far more important and far more beneficial.